Here's one thing that I always watch when I make my investment decisions. In the investment world, you have many different players. You have retail traders and investors, right? So these are just ordinary people. So you and I would be considered retail traders or retail investors. We're investing on our own. We're not trading at the same level as banks yet. Maybe in the future, some of you will be trading or investing like banks or at that level. But for now, it's most likely that you're a retail trader. So retail traders don't really dictate where the market is moving. The players that dictate where the market is going to go next is usually banks and institutions. It's these high net worth firms and individuals who can invest millions and millions of dollars into research into the market so that they can identify the most profitable investment opportunities for the future. So I like to watch where the big money is going. I've identified 3 different sectors that they're focusing on for 2022, and I think it's really, really valuable for us to have that information. So number 1 is real estate. Many firms and institutions and banks are buying up as much real estate as they possibly can. Most homes are being targeted by investors, institutional level investors. Now, not every deal is institutional quality, so they're kind of working their way down. They start with the best deals they can possibly find, and then they work their way down. So your neighborhood may not be targeted yet, but pretty soon, I personally believe that almost every single house in the United States will be owned by some sort of bank or institution or investment firm, right? And then they want to rent it out to get cash flow. They want to create passive income for themselves, for their investors, by buying up all of this real estate. So single family residences, homes, everyday homes, those are just one thing that they're buying up. Another thing that they're buying up is called industrial real estate. So these could be warehouses, and specifically this is tied in with e-commerce. So e-commerce is a great sector for these people to be investing into, because guess what? As the internet continues to develop, as we see so many things continuing to grow in that space, more and more people are selling online, more and more people are buying online, and guess what that means? That means deliveries have to happen. And so one of the key factors of these deliveries, these rapid deliveries, is called last mile. And so in the last mile, that's basically the very, very last point of when that product actually leaves that warehouse near your house and makes it to your house. So last mile real estate, really, really big. It's growing immensely. And so institutions are targeting spaces like this because of the demand, right? We don't just want to buy things just to buy things. We want to look at what could possibly happen in the future. In 10 years, is it likely that we're going to have more last mile warehouses than we do today? Okay, well, if it's likely, then maybe that's a good investment. Maybe that's something that I want to put my money into, because I know that if I find a way to invest into this asset, it's probably going to grow in value because demand is growing for it, right? And does that mean that supply can keep up with demand? Who knows, but I want a piece of that pie no matter what. Now, another type of real estate that is heavily being targeted by these institutional players is office real estate. So with everything that's happened in the recent years, some offices have gone vacant. So that has obviously driven down the price of some of these opportunities and has made them very, very profitable buys in most cases. Now, I truly believe that offices will still be used. I believe there is a very, very important role that offices play. And maybe during this season, these past few years, people have realized that, hey, maybe I don't have to work from the office. However, there are certain types of companies and certain types of roles that have to be in office. That's just a non-negotiable. I do not believe that every single role within a company can be done from home, but there are definitely companies that have to have that office space. And so I believe that there will be a return to the office. People will return to the office. People will work from the office. It just may look a little bit different than it did previously, but that doesn't discount the value of these office buildings, this office real estate that can be bought and then leased out to these corporate clients. So institutions are taking advantage of that. Let me tell you guys, they're buying up all this office real estate, this office space, and they're beginning to rent it out to these tenants. Now, that's just part number 1 that they're focusing on. Part number 2 is I see a very heavy focus on clean energy. So solar energy, wind-powered energy, all these renewable energy sources, renewable power, so to speak, is now becoming a very, very large part of these investors' portfolios. So banks, institutions, investment firms, very high net worth individuals. So in 10 years from now, right now it's 2022, so in 2032, are there going to be more sources of renewable energy than there are today? And maybe not even sources like wind and sun and all these different things, but I mean like plants, right? Ways that we can gather and capture that energy, capture renewable energy that we can use for electric cars. We can use it for driverless trucks and driverless cars, and we can use it for airplanes. All of these things are going to start running on renewable energy. And so if we can find a way to tap into that renewable energy growth, we can definitely benefit from what's happening in that sector. And so I see a lot of money being poured into that sector as it's being developed more and more. This is becoming a huge focus of these large investors, these large institutional players. And I think that they're onto something. I think that they can see, hey, in 10 years, there's going to be a lot more of this, right? So it's a very, very simple metric. It may seem a little bit exaggerated or a little bit silly even, but hey, in 10 years, are we going to have more or less of this? And that makes the decision easy. Yes, sure, something could happen in 5 years or in 7 years that totally makes renewable energy absolutely useless and we don't use it anymore. However, the likelihood of that happening is not very high. So me as an investor, I want to target a sector like that because I believe personally that that's going to continue growing, and I believe fossil fuels are dying out. So they're being phased out right now, and we're switching over to this renewable energy. And so as we make that transition, I want to be part of that growth. I want to tap into that. I want to invest into something that's in that space so that as we make the transition, I just get paid, right? I'm making money. I'm creating some sort of passive income for myself just because I invested into a company that's working in that space. I don't even have to do it myself. I don't know how to create solar cars, solar powered cars, right? I don't know how to create solar panels, but somebody else does. So if I can invest into their company, maybe buy a couple shares of their company, maybe as an angel investor, I want to invest into these things or find ways that I can partner with somebody that knows how to operate a business like that and own a percentage of that company. That's what I want to do. I want to be on the investor side of it and benefit from everything that's happening in that space. And finally, number 3 sector that I see large institutional players beginning to focus on is cryptocurrency. So large institutions are beginning to pour their money into these investments, into blockchain companies, into cryptocurrency itself, maybe Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these different things. They're starting to buy them up because they believe in the technology. With the development of cryptocurrency, we're at a very unique time in this space. This is kind of like at the beginning of the internet. And so with the development of Web3 and blockchain and all these different things that are happening, we can see that this could potentially be bigger than the internet. And a lot of people are willing to bet billions and billions of dollars on that. Large institutions and investment firms are beginning to focus on these things. They want to focus on cryptocurrency. They want to focus on real estate. They want to focus on renewable energy. And so these 3 sectors, me personally, I believe in the next 10 years are going to be way more applicable and way more relevant than they are today. And so if I can invest now, I'm going to benefit from all that growth. Hope you guys found this helpful. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.